Dick Matthews calling. I didn't have an opportunity right there at the end to say bye for now, but I just wanted to get back with you and tell you how delightful it was and impressive it was for you to be on the sea trials for Mark Twain. You really provided a very significant wealth of information about the boat, particularly about her core sample and what's in her deck. I have looked at a number of trail boards and will get back with you at a time where we can arrange to make progress on that and discuss with you a mutually convenient time, but I might be able to bring Mark Twain into Wilmington waters and also just maybe drive down and meet with you there at your yard. But my main purpose in calling today was to say how delighted I was to make your acquaintance, and obviously your pride in your workmanship and your creation of that boat just beamed throughout the day. I was delighted that you could be there, and I think that she just sails like a dream, and I don't have anything but positive praise for her construction and her detailing and everything about her. So I'm just very, very much looking forward to having a title to her. So I hope you have a great day and a great week, and I'll be back with you on the phone to just talk about things in general. Again, thanks much. Bye now.
While boats have been made in the port city for centuries, only within the last few years has Wilmington had their own car manufacturer. Noriera Yachts and Cars is responsible for the Noriera, a fiberglass roadster built on a steel frame. Alan Cothren is the creator of this sleek sports car, one of only 4 so far in existence.
I used to work with some Porsches and a lot of other sports cars, and we always wanted to build something that would be different and combine a lot of different cars as far as the drivetrain and engines and aerodynamics of European cars and American cars. So that's when we decided to build a custom car on our own, something that there was not another car like it.
It takes approximately 3 months for the car's construction. 2 weeks are needed to laminate all the fiberglass components, with the rest of the time being devoted to building the frame, getting the suspension adjusted, securing the body to the frame, and doing the interior work. Once completed, you have a car capable of 190 miles per hour.
The original body shape was an English race car, and that shell evolved into a street car. We started with a race car shell and developed it into a street project that has interior weather stripping and is a streetable car instead of just a race car shell. Right now we only do a small amount of advertising in custom car magazines, but we'd like to get more cars out to where we could get some prototypes and display them at some dealerships.
The Noriera's future is racing in high gear. Mark Franklin, News 6, Wilmington.